HarperCollins and Harper Audio present Don't Turn Out the Lights, a tribute to Alvin Schwartz's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, edited by Jonathan Maberry, performed by Adam Verner and Hilary Huber. Editor's Foreword. Reflections of an overgrown kid camping in the woods at night. When I was a kid, there were scary stories, but not scary stories to tell in the dark. Those books were published in the 80s, when I was already in my early 20s. By then, I was big and tough and worked as a bodyguard. I wasn't afraid of much. Not anymore. But I remember being afraid. I remember liking how that felt. The ripples of goosebumps along my arms when there was a sound in the dark I couldn't identify. The sudden intake of breath when something fell over in my closet for no good reason. The jolt to my heart as a floorboard creaked when I knew for sure no one else was home. I lived in an old row home, so, sure, the place groaned and moaned, and the rational part of my mind knew that there were logical explanations. Foundation settling, the wood frame sagging under the weight of years, a mouse behind the wall. There were always explanations, but that didn't stop me from being afraid. Yeah, I really liked being afraid. I wanted scary stories, even when I wasn't allowed. I read horror comics, and I spent a lot of time listening to my grandmother, we called her Nanny, tell spooky stories. She knew a lot of them. She was pretty spooky herself. Born on Halloween, and I think about 1,000,000 years old. Or at least she seemed that old. Her face was all wrinkles and creases, but her eyes were young, like a fairy or an imp, pretending to be an elderly lady. Her house was filled with books about vampires, werewolves, ghosts, and all kinds of things that went bump in the dark. If Luna Lovegood from the Harry Potter novels was someone's grandmother, that would be Nanny. I loved her. She was my favorite person. She told me strange tales about haunted houses, and monsters in closets, and headless horsemen, and crawly things that didn't have a name. She told me about lost souls and hungry ghouls, and disembodied hands scuttling like spiders. I used to think that she made those stories up, but later on discovered that she only made some of them up. A lot of those tales were old, older than her in some cases. Tales that were handed down over the years like creepy heirlooms. Campfire stories, urban legends, myths, and even versions of classic fiction. I first met Dracula in one of her stories, but the way she told it was different from the novel I later read. The same with The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Frankenstein, and The Phantom of the Opera. She reshaped these tales to fit her mood and her likes and her quirky sense of humor, and that was absolutely perfect. I've since retold some of her tales to my sister's kids. Yes, I was the weird uncle who told spooky stories to my nephews. Proud of that, too. I first encountered Alvin Schwartz's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark in 1983. I was about to go camping alone and wanted something creepy to read. The salesman at the bookstore said that the book was filled with campfire stories and weird stuff like that. He warned me that it was mostly for elementary readers, but I didn't care. I bought it, and the latest books by Stephen King and Robert McCammon. I spent a week camping and canoeing in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. It is a vast forest, and you can be completely alone and cut off from everyone in a 5-minute walk from the banks of the stream. I paddled along the cedar water streams and hiked the woods, and then spent some very pleasant hours scaring the absolute bejesus out of myself reading those stories. King scared me because Stephen King scares everyone. McCammon scared me because he knows exactly how to do that. But when I opened Schwartz's book, I expected to be amused but not actually scared.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?